Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Excited to start this week with you right now on our Motivation and Mindset Monday podcast. The reason why I love doing this podcast, well, there's many different reasons why I love doing the overall Cabral Concept podcast, but specifically the Mindset and Motivation Monday. And I know it's kind of becoming a more popular thing. We started doing this over 5 years ago, and really I've kept it going each and every week. And the reason is that every single Monday, to start the week, we want to get our mind in a specific frame of mind that will allow us to move forward in our life. We know that, we should believe that by now, but the truth is this, is that we need reinforcement. We need reinforcement not just on Mondays, but every single day of the week, that we are committed, that we're on the right track, and that we believe our future can be different from our present. Now, it does not mean that you have to be down on your present moment. It doesn't mean that you don't have to be happy and grateful and have good perspective on how far you've come and where you are right now. But what it does mean is this, is that just because you've accomplished things in the past, or just because things are going well right now, it doesn't mean that the future is going to be exactly the same. The future is based on what we are doing right now in this present moment. Because right now is different from just 10 seconds ago. Every single moment matters. Now, they're typically small moments. We typically don't have these massive decisions that we have to make that will change the course of our life at every moment of the day. But we do have small choices that add up to one single day. And that one single day is a microcosm of the macrocosm of our life. And that means that each and every decision should be predicated on the previous decisions before that. Now, if we start to get those small decisions moving forward correct, the bigger ones, when you're confronted with them, become that much easier because you have developed a new character of who you are. So what I want to share with you today to start this show is one of my favorite quotes ever, like literally one of my favorite quotes. If you've been on my Instagram account, if you follow that over there, you know that I love sharing quotes. I share quotes from people from all different walks of life. And one of the people that I think is admirable for a lot that they did, and also just the way that their mindset worked, was Arthur Ashe. And Arthur Ashe shared a quote. I'm going to share it with you right now. It's okay if you don't know who Arthur Ashe was, but we'll share that on a separate show. But what I want to share is a motivational inspiration quote that he gave. And it was, start where you are, use what you have. Let me repeat that. Start where you are, use what you have. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you are either a little bit ahead or a little bit behind, a lot ahead or a lot behind someone that you may be comparing yourself to. It could be a sibling, it could be parents, it could be friends, it could be schoolmates, it could be coworkers, whatever it might be. And that's why comparison is a very dangerous thing. It honestly is. If you start to compare yourself to people that you're further ahead, well, what does that do? Well, it builds up maybe a false sense of ego, or it begins to strengthen, or not in a good way, your ego overall. Or it gives you a false sense of security that you are far ahead when you might be nowhere near your potential. Now, that's very important in that aspect, but also comparing yourself to someone that's far ahead of you, whether it be career or relationship or health or body transformation, spirituality, you need to understand that they may have started this journey 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You don't necessarily know the struggles that they went through. And you have to also keep in mind that many of us have gifts and innate talents in certain areas of our life, and not as strong in other areas. And maybe they were given a little bit more in this area and you a little bit less, but you have more in this area. Now, the nice thing is this, anything in life can be learned. You can absolutely improve, get better at, and achieve anything that you want to. Some people, it'll come a little faster to them. Some people, it may take a little bit longer. That's okay. You have the time. If it's important to you, you'll make it a priority. You'll make it happen. So I'll tell you this, though, because it just comes down to a lot of people say, well, I don't have the finances. I don't have the time. I don't have and they insert some type of excuse. I did that myself for many, many years. You have to understand is that we all do it. But we have to use what we have right now. Sure, it would be nice to have $1 million and be able to hire this person and do that thing and this, that, and the other thing, whatever it might be. Like, I get it. Like, that would be nice. But we can't get down on ourselves because we have to be based in reality. So I always tell my team, I tell everybody, I am an idealist. I believe in ideals. I try to hold myself to certain ideals. I don't reach those ideals, but I like to at least have something to reach for. Like, I like to strive for something, right? So it's kind of like we all want these certain things. We want to move towards that, but you have to understand is we also aren't going to be perfect. And we only have so much to work with in this present moment. Let me share with you a little story here. When I was very sick in the 90s, the mid 90s, I did not know what to do, right? So it's like, start where you are, use what you have. Well, what did I have? I had access to conventional medicine doctors. And when my PCP or other people didn't know what was wrong with me and couldn't figure it out, what do? Well, they passed me along to a specialist. And the specialist might have been a GI specialist. It might have been an endocrinologist for hormones. They just kept passing me along till eventually I ended up, again, this is all conventional medicine, trying to use family referrals, these types of things, and just say, well, eventually I got referred to chief of staff at one of these hospitals when people started pulling strings to try to figure out what was wrong with me. And I got to the top and they said, unfortunately, and they were very nice about it, based on what we can see from your son's blood work, we can't diagnose anything specifically right now. So he's either going to get worse, and then maybe something will show up in there on his blood work and we'll be able to do something then, or maybe he will get better. They didn't have any answers. I was sick. I wanted answers. It was very depressing at that moment. But then what else did we do? Well, we didn't have, all these different means. We're just a normal family growing up in Medford, Massachusetts, doing our thing. No such thing that we knew of as natural health. No such thing as like this healthy eating movement, all these different things. So what did we do? Well, started to share my story with other people. And eventually someone said, hey, have you checked out this wellness center in Cambridge, Massachusetts? And so we knew nothing about that, but my mom asked, hey, do you want to check it out? And I said, I'm open. I'm open to it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Couldn't play sports anymore. Massive brain fog. Wasn't just doing as well in school. I was missing a lot of days. I had swollen glands, out past my earlobes. I was an absolute mess. So we went, though, to this doctor. Part of it was covered by insurance. Part of it wasn't. Then we said, okay, this is a different philosophy. We are open to it, right? So we have to be open to new things. We said, all right, he's asking us to run these digestion-based tests. He's asking to run these hormone-based tests. And so we said, well, we can't do them all just because of specific finances, but let's run these too. All of a sudden, what opens up next? Well, all of a sudden we say, there's an issue with my cortisol. I am not producing cortisol. And also I have Candida overgrowth. I have some bacterial overgrowth in my gut. What's going on here? Well, now we have something else to go off of, and we can start to run more diagnostic tests, and we can start to get to that next level. So I started at the basics. Again, then we could afford the stool bacteria and parasite test. Oh, now we find H. pylori. So now we might figure out now why I have such bad acid reflux and indigestion and bloating. And I lost like 30 pounds. And then it leads to the discovery that I have Addison's disease and myalgic encephalomyelitis, and I have low blood pressure, and I failed the tilt table test. And so we just start to take it to the next level. This did not happen overnight. None of it happened overnight. It was actually a painfully slow process. But what happened was this: we were figuring it out. And even though this doctor was absolutely fantastic in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They didn't have all the answers, but they had enough. And they moved me then to the next level, a couple levels actually. Introduced me to a nutritionist. I'm seeing a nutritionist now for the very first time in my life. I'm 19 years old or so. And they looked at my diet and they're like, okay, it's pretty good. But you seem to still be having skin rashes and skin reactions. Let's do a food sensitivity test. Run a food sensitivity test. And I'm sensitive to like 30 different foods. Well, you can't eliminate all of the natural foods that you're eating. So now we say, oh, there's probably a gut permeability issue. So now I start learning about intestinal permeability, about leaky gut. And this now is news to me. So now I'm getting my undergrad college degree. And at the same time, I'm studying nutrition on my off hours because this was now a passion of mine. I was basically a health detective, my own health detective. And that leads me to my next point. You have to understand, I'm working with some great doctors, some great practitioners. I'm spending money when I can on lab tests. I'm spending money that I basically, when I worked in college as well, it went just towards nutritional supplements. That's it. Like all of my money went through to nutritional supplements. And everybody knew that. And like, but that was a priority because I had to get well. I wasn't well. I couldn't even play a pickup game of basketball with my buddies in college. I would try, and then I would be sick with flu-like symptoms for 2 weeks. And that's not an exaggeration. I would have pneumonia every single winter. I would have sinus infections every other week and have to be put on all sorts of different antibiotics, again, before I truly discovered that this was, again, just causing a cyclical reaction with my H. pylori, with my candida overgrowth, with my SIBO as well. So, but again, I'm learning, I'm failing, I'm learning, I'm moving forward a little bit more, I'm learning, I'm seeing the next practitioner. I start to learn about things like meditation and Qigong and binaural beats. And I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. Then I discover Ayurveda. So all it was an up leveling every few months or every few years. So what was I doing? Well, I didn't know the full picture because none of us can. You're never going to know the full picture. It only unfolds as you begin to move down that journey. That's it. So, and everybody has their own journey. So the best thing that I can share with you is this, is that you have to start. You simply have to start knowing that you don't have all the answers. And the truth is, you can wait as long as you want, do as much research as you want, do as much analysis as you want. You're still not going to have all the answers. Because your doctor, just to let you know, doesn't have all the answers. Your health practitioner doesn't have all the answers. Here's what they do have. This is what I've discovered, is that they have the template. They have the blueprint for what should work. And it's probably going to be really close to working, at least to get you to the next level. So what does that mean? Well, let's say we give someone our CBO protocol, which, by the way, is used by tens of thousands of people around the world. We know that it works. But when you get that CBO food plan, you look at the plan and then you start to use it and you realize that you can't digest beans very well. Does that mean that the whole plan doesn't work for you? Of course not. What it means is that you need to tweak it as an individual for you. And that's what I didn't get for so many years. I would take a plan and I would throw it out after 2 weeks because here's the thing. It didn't work for me. I got bloated or it affected my sleep or this, that, or the other thing. Well, all I needed was some adjustments. The plan was like 80, 90% there. I needed to tweak it a little bit just for me if something came up. So it's an important one. And I did that actually at a practitioner's office and they were on to a lot, but I ended up leaving that practice because one of the nutritional supplements they gave me had soy in it. And I had already, believe me, I mean, I've been studying nutrition and personal training, all those things for many years. And then, 22 years old or so, I go to this practitioner's office, maybe I was 23, and things were going well. Like they were doing great detox protocols. This is way ahead of their time. I don't know, around the year like 2000 or so, 20 years ago. And then I just said, you know what? This product, I'm getting all these reactions from it. This is not for me. And look at the research and all these things. And so I, as they say, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. All of the rest of it was good. This part was not. So what I'm trying to share with you is this as well, is that things don't have to be perfect. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect. What you need to understand is this, is that you're going to work a plan. You're going to use whatever you have right now. And then when you start to save a little bit more money, well, you can reinvest it in yourself. When you start to learn the next step in your relationship, well, then you can take the next one after that. But you need to at least go from A to B in order to get to D, E, and F, right? Like you have to start there. Now you might move through A, B, C, D, E really quickly. Like that's great if you can move through those steps faster, but you're still going to have to take the steps. So we can make all the excuses in the world, and I did them myself. There's no doubt about it. A lot of self-sabotage going on when I was younger. There's no doubt about that. But here's the thing. You can make all the excuses you want. In the end, it doesn't really matter. And that's a little bit of tough love. It doesn't matter because it's still you holding you back if you make those excuses. So if you blame your doctor, if you blame your coach, if you blame your whatever it might be, I'm in the health field, so I just think in those perspectives. It honestly, it hurts you. It doesn't hurt anybody else. It hurts you. So what I want you to think about is this: how can I use what I have right now in order to take that next step? Maybe it's running a lab. Maybe it's hiring a relationship dating coach, or maybe it's just reading a book if you don't have the money to hire the coach. So for example, I didn't have money in the beginning to hire really a lot of practitioners. So what I did though is I read a lot of books. Hundreds of books a year. Now, you don't have to do that. But what you should do, though, is begin to work a plan, a book, work with a practitioner. And again, it can be in any field. Body transformation. Well, there's so many great body transformation coaches out there, virtually and in person. We've got our health practitioners, integrative health practitioners. We have relationship coaches. Obviously, all of these can come with blueprints or courses or whatever it might be as well to teach you. Spirituality, you can meet with your local rabbi, priest, etc. Or again, you can learn more about spirituality outside of organized religion. It's whatever fits you. So all of these things that you can begin. Career, again, there's unlimited amount of information for you to learn more about any type of career that you want. So here's the thing. I know that you want right now to be light years ahead of where you're at. You already want to be close to your goal. I get it. Most people do. But I can share with you this. The time is honestly going to pass anyways. Like I say that all the time. I talk about that all the time because it's the truth. I know that you want it to already be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and you've successfully completed whatever it is that you want. But the time's going to pass. The time's going to pass anyway. So you might as well get started. Because you can start now or you can start a year from now. And regardless, the time starts when you start. So you may as well start something today, this week. Think about one goal, not a million goals. Just pick one goal for me. And what I would love you to do is start with where you are right now. Simply think about what you have in order to be able to use. Begin there. Decide how much money you can invest in the thing. It might be something that's free, which is great. It might only be something like a $15 book that you invest in, and then you start to take notes on it, and you begin to work the plan. But what I would share with you is this, is as they say, there really is no time like the present, and that every successful person, whether it be transforming their body, transforming their health, transforming their relationships, their career, or their spirituality. They all started where you are right now. They might have been a different age. They might have started earlier. They might have started later. Honestly, that doesn't matter. But everybody starts pretty much at zero. And again, you can say this person had more means, more finances, more whatever it might be. That's fine. Again, we all start at different points on the spectrum, but we start with zero. We might have a little bit more means in this area, but a little less in this. But it's like a video game. We have this avatar where we're better at public speaking, but not very good at one-on-one relationships. We're better at our career, but not so good with our health. And I've met many people like that. So what do they need to do? Well, they did better in their career. Now maybe they can invest more in their health. Or you did great in your health, and now you have plenty of energy to put towards your career. So remember, we all have our own individual starting points, but we start with that first step. That's all that I want you to do right now is just think about that right now. Take a little assessment of yourself. Write down in a journal, this is where I am right now. Then on the other page in the journal, say, this is where I want to go. Okay, I know these are all the things that I need to do. All right, so write them down. These are all the things that you need to do in the future. But what can you do right now? That's what it's all about. So hopefully this podcast was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I truly do. And if you could share this show with anyone you believe it could serve, that would be fantastic. Thanks so much. Take care. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Cabral Concept Podcast. Real pleasure to be able to speak with you on our daily show. What I want to do right now is share with you the listener-only and community-only offer that we have going on over at Equilife right now. It is a timely offer for Valentine's Day where we are bundling our best-selling daily nutritional support shake in chocolate along with our advanced collagen support. The reason why that this is a great deal is because we are taking $40 off those 2 daily nutritional support shakes combined with the advanced collagen. So you are getting all 3 of those for $99, and that is going to save you $40 while supplies last this week only. 2 chocolate daily nutritional support combined with an advanced collagen support and 2 industry-leading products for just $99. Check it out while supplies last over at equa.life. That is EQUI.LIFE. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing rest of the day.